few years ago, I figured with Fiverr, the world's largest online marketplace for digital services between buyers and sellers. I explore and play around with it, how the concept works, and mainly figure out what gigs I should start and how I should list them. Today I'll share with you why we should avoid the mindset of starting something and only focusing on the little things that are not as significant as the big picture. Why we should stop overthinking and being a perfectionist, and how it will help us be more productive. But first, if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. Here we talk about art, minimalism, mental health, and making money online. These are just some of the things that I'm passionate about. If you end up liking this video, please be sure to like and consider subscribing. Let's get started. I opened an account with Fiverr, and as many of you would know, this is the main go-to for freelancing, aside from Upwork, which is pretty much set up differently. Okay, so starting off, you can have as much as 5 gigs on Fiverr, and sometimes gigs are still subject for approval. I made some research on the easy and effortless gigs I can put up. You see, there's plenty of YouTube videos that goes easy Fiverr gigs that requires no skills at all. And I went for it. I prepared my description, and to be honest, I pretty much end up spending most of my time checking how other sellers post their gigs. I would take notes, screenshots, and I compiled them on a list so that I have like a reference of top selling gigs that I can replicate and model to. This happened several months ago.
What?
And up until now, I still have not been able to post a single gig since. You see, I have issues. I admit, I have analysis paralysis. Being a perfectionist, I procrastinate a lot. Or plainly just being lazy, having excuses after excuses after excuses. This is my problem, and I'm being honest and real to you guys. I'm pretty sure there's at least someone out there who can relate to me, and I guess that's okay. That's the reality of it. As an overthinker, most of the time I think about starting something, and I end up asking myself, is it worth my time and energy? I know for a fact, as a perfectionist, it'll take days and even weeks for me to be completely fulfilled with a particular project. Most of the time, my motivation from starting a project, aside from the fact that I have to enjoy doing it first, is that will I learn something from it and gain relevant experience and helpful skill that I can use in the future? Most of the YouTube videos that we watch, or whatever the algorithm feeds us, no matter what topic or niche, they would often present it in a way that it sounds, looks, or even feels easy and effortless. But it's not that simple. There's psychology involved, motivation, environment, about personality, and maybe some urgency. This is the reality, and I'm not saying it's impossible, it's just that it requires baby steps. Making mistakes after mistakes and then learning from it. Researching, having experience, and ultimately it takes plenty of time and lots of effort. So, going back to Fiverr, during that time I got stuck and never really made any progress. I was fixated, fascinated, caught up with the idea that Fiverr gigs that has videos as an intro or thumbnail performs well, rather than gigs that only has thumbnail images, because that put way too much time and energy preparing for videos, writing scripts, editing, and recording it, because it's not perfect enough, and I'm creating it for 5 gigs at the same time. I got overwhelmed. Eventually I gave up, was not able to post any gig. Sad. Fast forward to the present time, after several months of being occupied to some other things like Redbubble, which is something we can talk about in another video, I went back to the idea of posting gigs for Fiverr. This time I have better understanding of it, and more importantly, my own personal tendency, which I think is just as important and often overlooked. Guys, we have to be aware of our own tendencies. We need to adjust and then go from there. Rather than overthinking and focusing on just the little things, the main thing is to just do it and execute. Be efficient and take significant actions. Now I'm posting 1 gig at a time. At least for now. I ditched the idea of having videos on my gig. Maybe I will do that at a later time. This can wait, because that is not the priority and goal. But now the main goal is to post 1 gig after another. Being productive and having a clear set of goals. All this considering I'm not really expecting to have a client or an order for the next 2 weeks, maybe a month, maybe more. Because I'm new to the platform, there's just way too many competition that went ahead of me. So I lower my expectations. I don't know about you, but this seems to work for me. It reduces my stress and I end up making sure I did everything I have control over. At least set realistic expectations. So this is for the long haul and this is an investment. I know for a fact I'm not going to make any fortune doing freelance, but I want to put up some work right now and prepare and set it up for the future. Speaking of competition, remember the easy and effortless gig that I mentioned earlier? The ones that requires no skills at all? Well, those gigs are the most saturated ones. So word of advice, consider exploring gigs that has less competition, less search results, and look for something that is viable to you. Yes, you. For me, I still have one or two of those evergreen gigs that are overly saturated, I know, but I'll see how it goes. Finally, this video is not really just about Fiverr. It goes to any journey that you are in. It applies in our daily life in general. It may be hollow for some because of the sample I have. They might not be familiar with Fiverr, but if you really think about it and consider this mindset that I'm proposing to you, which is not to overthink. Take baby steps. Make mistakes and learn from it. Be productive. Push yourself. Think of the big picture. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Invest in gaining experience and skills that are significant to your goals. I'm telling you, it will at least reduce your stress and workload and pressure from everything and everyone, because not all the things that we put effort, time and energy are really essential and important to us. Being busy is not always being productive. It's not healthy and it can take away some of your happiness too. This is something I have to remind myself every day. Maybe this is something you can ask yourself and figure out too. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.